Attention passionate New York Giants fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on New York Giants' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true New York Giants fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and New York Giants fans. Let's get to the news, all right. So here's the scoop that's been buzzing around the league and has Giants fans everywhere paying close attention. There's a lot of smoke around a potential blockbuster trade involving Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Lions' star wide receiver, and the New York Giants. Now, I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a crazy rumor, right? But when you look at the recent shifts in the NFC landscape, the strategic needs of both teams, and the financial considerations, it starts to make more sense. Let's break it down because this could be a game changer not just for this season, but for years to come. So, the Detroit Lions, sitting at a 5-4 record, are in a bit of a tricky spot. They've got Jared Goff leading an offense that's been pretty explosive, but their cap space is tight, around $15 million, and with extensions pending for Goff and other key players, they're at a crossroads. Plus, the Lions are prioritizing resetting their roster for a future rebuild, especially on defense. Their secondary has been leaking points, giving up around 25 points per game, which is alarming for a team with playoff aspirations. They've also been making some tough decisions, including the possibility of moving out some of their core players to optimize that cap space and build more around their offensive stars. On the other side, we have the Giants, who are currently sitting at 2-7 and in full rebuild mode. After the trade deadline on November 4th, they went into a full seller mode, looking to stockpile draft capital and clear out veterans for a fresh start. But even with their struggles this season, they're still eyeing the future, and acquiring a player like St. Brown could be a real difference maker. With Malik Neighbors out for the season due to injury, the Giants are desperately searching for an elite slot receiver, a guy who can create separation, run precise routes, and be a reliable target on third downs. That kind of player could significantly elevate their offense, especially with quarterback Jackson Dart still developing. Now here's where it gets interesting. The whispers suggest that Detroit might be willing to part ways with Amon-Ra St. Brown in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft from the Giants. It's a bold move, no doubt, but it makes sense if Detroit is looking to accelerate their rebuild on defense and open some cap space in the process. Amon-Ra, at just 26, has been a monster when healthy. He's compiled nearly 800 receiving yards and 42 touchdowns over his career, and he's been one of the most consistent receivers in the league. His PFF grade hovers around 89.6, which is elite, and his stats in 2025 are impressive. 68 receptions for 912 yards and 7 touchdowns in just 9 games. He's averaging over 13 yards per catch, and his ability to run precise routes on third down has drawn comparisons to Cooper Kupp's impact with the Rams in 2022. What makes Amon-Ra so valuable is his route running, quickness, and ability to create yards after the catch. He's a perfect fit for a team that wants to stretch defenses and convert on third down. Last season, he had a career-high 12 receptions for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns in a single game, showing he can be a game-changer when given the opportunity. His success on tight zones and in contested catches, 82% of his catches are contested, makes him a reliable target in clutch situations. Plus, with minimal injuries, he tweaked his wrist in Week 6 but has been relatively durable. He's a player you can count on to be a consistent presence on offense. The Lions, meanwhile, are motivated to make this move because they're eyeing a deep playoff run and potentially a Super Bowl push. Their odds to win Super Bowl LXI are currently around +9-0, but losing a player like St. Brown could complicate their playoff prospects, especially if they lose their elite separator and their offense struggles without him. Detroit's focus is to free up about $18 million in cap space to extend some offensive linemen and bolster their pass rush. They want to be more balanced and aggressive on defense, especially after ranking around 16th in EPA per pass allowed. Trading St. Brown would also give Detroit a much-needed cap boost for 2026, opening the door for future extensions and signings. For the Giants, this move could be a total game-changer. Acquiring St. Brown would immediately give them a step up in the passing game, adding nearly 300 projected yards to their offense. Jackson Dart, the rookie quarterback, would benefit immensely from a reliable slot weapon like him, which could boost their EPA per pass by around 22%. His chemistry with the quarterback would be instant, especially in a scheme that relies heavily on the slot, something the Giants need after losing Malik Neighbors for the season. Neighbors, who is expected to be a key piece in their offense, will now be out, which makes a player like St. Brown even more critical. The impact on the Giants' offense would be tangible. We're talking about a player who can elevate their third down conversions from 34% to over 42%, a significant boost in a league where staying on the field is everything. His ability to gain yards after the catch, adding around 350 YAC in the red zone, would make the offense more explosive and unpredictable. His versatility could also help in red zone situations and when trying to break through defenses that have been tough for them to crack this season. The Giants' current offensive struggles, averaging around 17 points per game, could be alleviated by adding a player of St. Brown's caliber, potentially transforming their offense into a more dynamic and consistent unit. From a defensive perspective, the Giants' defense has been far from elite, allowing around 245 points this season, so the focus will remain on building a more complete team. But upgrading their offense, especially at the slot receiver position, could help take some pressure off a defense that's been on the field too long. Strategic move to try to turn around a season that's been full of ups and downs, with the hope that a player like St. Brown can be the spark they need. Plus, with the Giants projected to improve their win rate by nearly 2%, this trade could accelerate their rebuild and set the stage for a more competitive future. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. If this trade happens, the Giants' Super Bowl odds could see a dramatic shift, jumping from plus 20-0 to around plus 8-0. That's a huge leap, and it signals that the team believes in the potential of this move to make a playoff push. St. Brown as a playoff X-factor could be exactly what they need to exploit zones in the NFC East, especially against rivals like the Cowboys and Eagles, where his versatility in the slot and ability to find soft spots in zones would be a nightmare for defenses. His big play EPA increases by 26% when he's on the field, and that's the kind of impact that can flip games in the postseason. For the Lions, it's a different story. They're looking to rebuild their defense and get their cap sorted out, so losing a player like St. Brown might be viewed as a necessary sacrifice for long-term stability. But it does leave their offense a little less explosive, which could hurt their playoff chances if they don't find a suitable replacement quickly. Still, Detroit's management seems to be making moves with an eye on the future, and this trade could be a step in that direction. All in all, this scenario feels like a win-win on paper. The Giants get a proven, elite receiver who can change the trajectory of their offense almost immediately, while the Lions get a first-round pick in 2026 and some cap flexibility to rebuild their roster. It's a bold gamble on both sides, but that's what makes the NFL so exciting. Strategic moves that could reshape divisions and redefine teams' futures. If this trade comes to fruition, we'll be watching the NFC East and the entire league with even more interest, knowing that one move can have ripple effects across the NFL landscape for years to come. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest New York Giants news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So what do you guys think? Is this the kind of move the Giants should be making right now, or is it too risky? Would you trade a first-round pick in 2026 for a player like Amon-Ra St. Brown? This kind of bold move could be exactly what they need to finally turn the page and start climbing back into playoff contention. The NFC East is tough, no doubt about it, with the Eagles, Cowboys, and Commanders all gunning for the division title. But adding a dynamic receiver like St. Brown could give the Giants that extra edge they've been missing, especially in big games. And let's not forget, this isn't just about this season. This is about building a foundation for the future. The Giants have been searching for consistency at the receiver position for years, and the arrival of someone like St. Brown could finally give them that reliable target they need. His ability to produce on third downs and in clutch moments makes him a perfect fit for what Brian Daboll and the coaching staff want to build. It could also motivate the entire offense to elevate their game, knowing they've got a player of his caliber leading the charge. On the flip side, the Lions are taking a calculated risk, banking on their defensive rebuild and cap flexibility to get them back into contention. They're clearly looking to reset and focus on their long-term goals, And sometimes that means trading away a star for draft capital and cap relief. If they can find the right pieces in the draft and free agency, they could come out stronger in a couple of seasons. But right now, losing St. Brown would hurt their offense, especially because he's been such a consistent and explosive weapon. This whole situation also highlights how strategic the NFL has become. Teams are no longer just looking for short-term fixes. They're thinking about the future, cap management, and draft assets. The Giants' willingness to part with their 2026 first-round pick shows they're serious about making a push, even if it's not this year. And for Detroit, it's about positioning themselves to compete for a Super Bowl in the coming seasons, even if that means sacrificing some immediate offensive firepower. In the end, it's a fascinating storyline that could reshape the NFC East and have ripple effects across the league. Whether this trade happens or not, it's a reminder of how dynamic this league is, always evolving, always full of surprises, and always offering fans the thrill of the next big move. As Giants fans, we should be excited about the possibility of adding a player like St. Brown to our roster, someone who can help us finally climb back into the playoff picture and maybe even contend for a Super Bowl again. And now, New York Giants fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Would you love to see Amon-Ra St. Brown in blue and red? Do you think the Giants should make this bold move? Or do you think they should hold on to their draft picks and build through the draft? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Giants. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest New York Giants news. This is your go-to channel for everything Giants, and we're just getting started on this exciting journey.